Hello, my name is Rosendo Beltran. This is the video reaction number one over the TED Talk given by Michelle Hebel. Uh, the video was titled Modern Discrimination, Subtle but Significant. And Michelle Hebel is a professor in psychology and management at Rice University. Early on in the video, she stated her purpose for giving the presentation was to voice her perspective on gender issues, discrimination, and how discrimination in the face of discrimination has changed over time. She also talks about, things she hopes to achieve moving forward and how there are there are individuals who feel that we'll never get to a point where there can be laws or legislation, things like that, put into place to protect against being discriminated. So her stance is there are laws and legislations put in place to protect against sexual harassment now, and she's sure that there were individuals who felt that they would never achieve that, and look where we are with that. So she gets started, or I want to start with talking about our book definition for discrimination is the making of distinctions, and in the context of human resources is the making of distinctions among people. Uh, Hebel explained that, or I mean, she didn't have to explain, I'm sure most of us know that the earliest signs of discrimination were based on things such as race, such as gender, such as your religious affiliation or orientation, your age, things like that. And they were very blatant. So back then, there were whites only signs, colored people only signs, help wanted signs, but based on religious affiliation and things like that. That was okay back then. It's no longer accepted. There are laws, there are things put in place to avoid people being discriminated against based on their differences. So that what I just explained as far as discrimination based on religious, race, orientation, sex orientation, or just saying you don't like somebody because they're a part of a different group, you don't like someone because they're a white man, or you don't like someone because they're a black man. That is what Hebel explains as formal discrimination, and those are illegal behaviors because there are legislations put in place like the Equal Pay Act, the Age Discrimination in Employment Act, Americans with Disabilities, Title VII of the Civil Rights Act. Those are all things that are those are all laws that are put in place to protect people from being discriminated against for their differences. Hebel has conducted research because she knows that despite the fact that there's legislations currently put in place, there is still discrimination that's taking place today. So she conducted research to find out what that discrimination is, or how it's not practiced, but like how people carry on with it. And what she found, or what she coined the term interpersonal discrimination, and it's what is most prevalent today. And it's not directly telling somebody that you don't like them because they're this race, or because they're overweight, or because they believe in a different religion. It's more of a undercover discrimination is the way I like to think about it. The way you feel about somebody indirectly is going to be shown, because I mean, if you don't like someone, you can't, it's hard to stand in front of someone and fake it. So what she calls interpersonal discrimination are things that happen like when you're with someone or you're in front of somebody, you you will be I apologize. I mixed my thoughts up. Interpersonal discrimination is shown in fake smiles, fake nods, shortened interactions, things like that. So she's conducted many studies. I know she talked about the one where she, sent individuals into places to apply for jobs that they already knew they needed help, and had one group wearing a Texan and Proud hat and another group wearing a Gay and Proud hat, and found that nobody was formally discriminated against. They were all accepted, allowed to apply for the job, all treated fairly in terms of how they should have been treated. You like, if you're going in for a job interview or going to sign an application, there were no clear noticeable differences in the way people were treated, other than those wearing the Gay and Proud hat reported shortened interactions, maybe an eye roll, maybe less eye contact, and then afterwards it was more clear, and there were less callbacks to those who wore the Gay and Proud hat versus the Texan and Proud hat, and all of those are signs of interpersonal discrimination. I know I personally don't experience it every day, and it's not that it's hard to relate to, because it isn't. I've seen it happen around me. I've never had it been discriminated against because of my race or anything directly towards me. I'm grateful for that, but I also am aware that it happens every day to a lot of people. It's very unfair, and what my understanding is, Dr. Hebel is working for those individuals who are discriminated against every day, and at this point it's became a part of life for them, as sad as it sounds. She doesn't want that. She wants to help them. She wants to put laws in place to protect them and things like that. Going back to what I said, there are individuals who think that that's very far-fetched. Like, how can you put a law in place to protect someone or from getting a shortened interaction time or a fake smile or things of that sort? How can you protect someone from getting discriminated in that sense? But then her rebuttal to that is, look at the sexual harassment laws that we have now, and there was a time that no one would ever thought that those laws and legislations would be possible and be put in place.